Okay, Mama Magie Ward, I hear you, I see you. Let's go ahead and do the writer's not writing tag. See you on the other side. Let's jam. Hello there, everybody. My name is Jenna O'Malley. I am your soul writer, author of sci-fi fantasy with dashes of romance and nerdy references such as the Merna Annals. How is ya, fellow soul bard? Welcome on in. Mama Magie Ward, check her channel link in the description box below, did tag me to go ahead and do, well, the writer's not writing tag. More about the questions and the creators and the people I'm tagging to go ahead and reply. Cassandra! JD! Kay! Rachel! If you haven't done it yet, go ahead and do it. All of us are getting together, I think, in Bowie, Maryland this summer, so I think it'll be fun for all of us who are doing the Right Women's Book Festival together, links in the description as well, to go ahead and maybe tag each other out and make sure all of us get these videos up in case we have new people there who want to get to know us outside of our writing. So, writers not writing, let's get started. Feel welcome to answer the questions in the description box. They are, and you're welcome to reply in the comments, live or hello team replay. How are you? Question number 1. Do you have a day job? I'm an author. I'm an editor. I'm a book coach. A former student would venture to say I'm probably more like a life coach for bookish people, because a lot of my meetings as former creative writing students in K-12 will probably attest, because they're very similar to the things I talk about with a lot of my coaching clients as a professional author. We talk more about life than writing. So I have that, but formerly I was a K-12 high school English teacher. I did more than just teach English. My certifications are so deep that I have equivalent to 2 master's degrees as far as credits go to be trained into what I'm doing. So I have definitely worked with writing all my life. Essentially, becoming a teacher was an excuse to get paid to talk about writing for a living. Therefore, question number 2, are you a reader? Yes applies. I am voracious. I am hungry. And in my opinion, audiobooks count. And normally, if I'm working on anything for anyone that is like admin tasky, like sometimes for my editing clients, I will like do their metadata for them as part of one of the packages they can have me help them with. When I'm doing stuff like that, I'm normally listening to an audiobook. Now, yes, I do listen to what you would think I would listen to within my genre. Misa loves some paranormal and dark romance, anything therein, hence the Merna Annals. I also am a huge fan of like just straight up fantasy sci-fi adventure books that have like no romantic plot to them whatsoever. Yes, I know that my books that are currently out on the market lean heavy into my fantasy love of things, but we're getting to the sci-fi soon, and the more I'm getting into those sci-fi things, the more I'm reading more of those books, and I'm just quite enjoying getting back to reading books that I haven't read in years. Oh my goodness, like, I haven't reread Ready Player One. Now, some people are like, that's not sci-fi. It is in a way sci-fi-esque. It plays on a lot of sci-fi typical tropes with tech, like older sci-fi typical tropes with tech, and updates them, compare them to like the old movie War Games by comparison. Very similar tropes, and I would venture a lot of people would slot those into sci-fi fantasy like kind of mindsets versus flat out fantasy, right? So I'm getting more into watching movies and games of that ilk because Vitae Elangica is based on them. That's kind of where the intro of the sci-fi is getting. But I'm also finding that I'm more so reading a lot of self-help books more than ever. I'm really, because of writing a TTRPG with us with Baka a couple of Thursday nights a month, I'm really starting to get into like the deep delve end of tarot research for the history of tarot to make sure that I can have those things on lock as referential for building that world. But I'm also looking more back into my Pathfinder books, my D&D books, and looking at those reference materials as part of building that. And then for fun, I've been actually picking up listening to the War of Art. And I'm probably going to go back through all of my Dolores Cannon audio podcast stuffs just because a lot of her work influences things that are happening in my books. Also, a lot of her... She's one of those people I can listen to who gives uplifting information, and her voice is very much like Morgan Freeman, very much like Samuel L. Jackson. Here's a dictionary, read it to me. I would love to listen to hear you say that kind of thing, just because you're entertaining to listen to just talk. So I'm getting into those kind of books again, and audiobooks more than ever. A couple of nights a week, or a month rather, here, we're also looking at craft books. So I'm reading craft books like crazy. We're getting ready to finish the 8 Crafts of Writing's next chunk of 25 pages, and I'm working my way through the author ecosystems. Links in the description box below if you want to learn more. So, what are your other hobbies would be question numero 3. Question number 3. I am a gamer, and I love me some animes. I am very big right now into playing Animal Crossing. For the first time in my life, I recently acquired a Switch in my home, and for the first time owning Animal Crossing. And some people are like, well, you're behind. I've been focusing on writing the last 5 years, not video games. And before that, I was focusing on teaching, not video games. I did have a stint where I was going back and replaying Elder Scrolls Online for a while. I've dipped out of that again. I am probably going to dig out my previous laptop that I ran the business on is now kind of like my gaming, and if I want to take and make a Twitch for gaming channel, go that route. I would love to get back into playing Terraria. I would love to get back into playing The Sims 4. I would love to get back into playing all the Dragon Age games. It's like there's so many games and so little time Jenna has available. Here recently, I have decided that I will take 30 to 60 minutes a day every day at the end of my workday to kind of be my video game time. If I don't get it, I don't get it. If I do, oh, I feel so much better. Question number 4, tea or coffee? It depends on what time of day it is, not what time of year it is. So says the chick as she drinks her plain black coffee. Anyway, I normally am a coffee drinker. I used to be a huge tea drinker. And of course, I am that former teacher. I have to have my coffee in the morning and then something else around 3 to 5 p.m. or I'm not lasting until my day normally ends. So that 3 to 5 p.m. or afternoon drink would normally used to be soda. I'm trying to do my best to get away from the soda and focus more on tea. The tea and coffee bar that we have is rather impressive, I might say so myself. Question number 5. What are you passionate about? Writing? Literally, like, the reason why I went into debt to become a teacher was so I could talk about writing for a living. So, obviously, look at this YouTube channel. I can't get away from it. I am also a huge theater nerd and like performing arts nerd. This is a side of me that I really don't talk about as much as some people might realize. Now, some of you who come to my live streams for Heart Breathings are like, Jenna, as many times as you've given us polls on musical stuff, and as much as we trick you into singing for us, I'm really not that good, guys. Thank you all, gals, pals. I'm not that good. But I love theater. Like, and I have a minor. Like, for my bachelor's degree, that's what my minor studies were in. I went to college and got literally a bachelor's degree in literature, transatlantic literature, and linguistics that basically says Jenna loves to read. And my minors were inclusive of stage management for theater. That was my focus, was like stuff behind the curtain. So I know so much about the theater world and it directly impacts my writing. Hello, battle writing vlog that I did recently, right? Question number 6. Do you have any pets? Yes, you've met most of them. If you hang with us on live streams, you know that there should be a sassy kitty walking across there. Notice when I'm vlogging, she doesn't show up. It's just when she knows that the blue light is on the vlog, the live stream webcam. It's like she knows her audience is watching. Anyway, if you know the names of my kitties, put them in the comment box below, and the first person to list all their names might win a prize. So, question number 7. What was your dream job as a child? I have a feeling I just got a moment of deja vu. weird. I've had this conversation before. So, what was your dream job as a child? 3 things. Teacher or therapist. Ask one student named Cleo and her husband as to whether or not I'm a therapist, okay? They literally met in my creative writing class, and I will take that credit. Yes, I made sure they sat together. For a reason. Anyway, they're married now, and he takes really good care of her. So, number 2, I wanted to be an author. Check, check. The only thing I haven't done is dolphin doctor was number 3. The only one I haven't done is become a marine biologist, because I can't do math. And you need to kind of be good at math to do some of the sciencey stuff to be a dolphin doctor. So, therefore, I will just enjoy going and seeing the dolphins in all their beauty and supporting programs that fund research to make sure that they are kept safe. Yes, porpoises included. Their cousins included. I'm very much, because I've told this story before, but I'll retell again. My brother Dennis, the middle child, who's about 18 years older than me, he worked at the Baltimore Aquarium because we lived in the neighborhood. That was one of his jobs as a kid, was working down in the gift shops, and eventually went on from there. And I remember being as little as like 2, 3, 4 years old, and him walking me around because he could get me in for basically free with his employee discounts and stuff. Even after I was over than, the kids under whatever age get free. Once I was over that, he would even still get us in for a routine free because we lived walking distance. And you want to talk about core memories to like inside out reference levels. One of my favorite core memories is watching my brother go back and have them bring out the fishy feeds for the dolphins. And my brother letting me watch them get fed. Not super close compared to other people, but front row seat with very other few people in the house, because he knew the times to go and whatnot when they're slower, right? So that highly impacted me as a little kid. And like all of the times I've ever gone to different beaches, I've been to a few different beaches up and down the East Coast. Every time I've gone, I've always made it a point. I have to go check out the whales, the dolphins, the porpoises in the area, if that is an option for the time of year I'm there. And, to live closer to that, I love my mountains, I love my lakes is the problem, but to live closer to that would be a joy. Yes, I know. There's a place called Maine that has both within an hour of each other. Anyway, I've been there. So, question number 8. If you could live anywhere else in the world, segue, where could it be? I have long considered Maine for the reason I just stated. Maine is gorgeous. My father-in-law lives outside of Bangor, so I've seen kind of the different landscapes because I've driven through Maine, and I've driven along the East Coast up too. As a Marylander, let me just say, I don't know how some of you, my friends who live in the New England smaller states do it. Connecticut is all I'm going to say, because I feel like you're getting cut off every time you go through Connecticut. Oh my goodness. I can't say what we call Massachusetts on YouTube. I'll get in so much trouble. New York's not too bad, but like driving through Connecticut and Massachusetts, no thank you. No thank you. So, I probably, if I were to choose anywhere north of here, there are 1 or 2 places in Pennsylvania I would consider, only because I know the area, kind of. There's a place called Scotland, PA, and yes, all of you who know Ian Sinclair from the Merna Annals are going, that would be ironic. Pithy, even. And that's not too far north of where I live now, in Washington County, Maryland. I've lived in Maryland my majority of my whole life. I was born in Baltimore. In 1995, when I was about 8, we moved to Cumberland, which is like middle of nowhere, mountain Maryland in the valleys. And then a couple years ago, my husband and I moved to Hagerstown, which is dab smack in between. So, well, not dab smack, but close enough. And if I were to choose anywhere north of here, it probably would be Scotland, PA, or probably somewhere in Maine. West, I'm not sure, because the furthest west I've ever been is Biloxi, Mississippi, and that was for a concert to go and see a bunch of Japanese metal bands, because a friend of mine lived in Pensacola at the time and had tickets, and I was like, Gakuto-sama, Maku! And I had so much fun. So I can't really say much further south or west. I probably would not live in West Virginia. Sorry, guys. I know it's much cheaper, and I have lived within miles of West Virginia most of my adult life. I have nothing against the state except for the fact that I know I wouldn't get the treatment I need for some of the things I have health-wise. And that's just because I know the availability of doctors, because I live near West Virginia. A lot of people who live in West Virginia who have my diagnoses are driving to Maryland anyway. So, or Virginia. And Virginia's not a bad state, but for the taxes by comparison, I might as well live in Maryland. It's about the same price. So, that's how I kind of feel about why I haven't left Maryland, because it just has kind of always met my needs. If I were to pick anywhere outside of the U.S., probably would go to Ireland or Scotland proper. I know that my training as an English teacher makes me highly coveted in several countries. I also know how several of those countries feel about women. So, choices are what they are. So, if I were to pick, probably Scotland or Ireland, just because my family's from Ireland, mostly Irish in descent. Maiden name is very common Irish name for what it is. So, question number 9. Do you sprechen any foreign languages? Not really. I am a very, 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 very stereotypical English literature linguistics nerd. I have a high appreciation for languages. I know a lot about, like, the formation of languages and the history of them, but don't ask me to speak them. I used to know a lot of Nihon, Japan's language. Nihongo was a lot of fun to learn. I just haven't used it in eras, and it is literally one of those languages that if you don't use it, you lose it. I used to know Latin pretty well because I grew up in the church, Catholicism, and because of being trained in secular choirs that tend to tra-la-la-la-la-la and a lot of Latin songs, I used to know it really well. I studied Spanish in high school pretty thoroughly, but again, I just haven't had a cause to use most of it, because even though a large population of the students whom I've served during the 15-ish years I've been an educator are multi-language learners. I'm not going to just say secondary, because some of the kids I taught literally could speak more languages than most people I know. We're talking like some of the kids I know can speak 5, 6, 7 languages. So it was always more preferred that I speak English as my role as their teacher. So I do know, like, a lot of random words from a lot of different languages, and push comes to shove, yeah, if I were drop-kicked randomly in the middle of Tokyo, I probably would survive between what I do remember of Japanese and the English I have, but wow, that would be a huge bell curve of immersion learning for sure. Question number 10. What music would we find in your collection? Lots of rock, lots of metal, and from different eras and different cultures. My brothers started me out right. So, I've mentioned my brothers before. My 3 eldest brothers are anywhere from 18 to 22 years older than I am. So, in the late 80s, they were listening to stuff like Whitesnake, the Eurythmics, Queen, and harder, okay? Like, I remember jamming out with my brother Dennis at a fairly young age, 15 or younger, to Disturbed, to Korn, to Slipknot. And the youngest of my brothers was very much into that, but he was also into a lot of, like, rap and, like, alternative, newer music. And then, of course, I went to middle school in the era where Linkin Park was super popular. And my friends and I glommed onto Linkin Park because we were anime nerds. And you all know what album I'm talking about. Midoriya was so much fun, right? So we definitely had an eclectic mix in my CD list, I guess you could say, because I also have a lot of like anime theme songs that I will randomly just know the English to and the Japanese too. Like I am also that Disney nerd. You can't watch a Disney movie with me and not be okay with me singing. Sorry. Do not watch Beauty and the Beast with me. I will sing it. Lion King. I will sing it. It requires the singing. Don't watch Disney movies with me if you're not going to at least tolerate me doing the singing and the quoting. I also grew up in an era with people like Nobuo Uematsu making amazing video game soundtracks. So yeah, I'm a music nerd. If you want a sampling of my music, just ask to see the aesthetic playlist for any of the Merna Annals. You'll be like, yep, she's a nerd. So, how about you? What are your write or not writing like reactions, and do they really all eventually just lead you back to writing anyway? If you made it this far, put a purple heart down in the comments below so I know that you did get to the end. And above all, take care of yourself. I look forward to seeing you in streams here soon. I'll be back before you know it. Take care of yourself. Bye!